What is going on, everybody? So little weird different video. We're working on the Corvair on the S10 frame with the supercharged 3800 in it, but I'm not going to consider this as one of the parts of how to swap in a supercharged 3800 into your Chevy S10. So the point of this video is I am going to make a remote mount shifter. As you can see, my shifter is right there, and it used to be right there, but because of how much farther forward the transmission is, it's now up there. And the problem with that is it's really hard to shift, because where it used to be right here, and I had a Hurst T-handle right here that relocated it where it needed to be, instead it's all the way farther here. Now, technically, in theory, I could just bolt this onto here and have the shifter here, but even that is like, I'm going to be punching my switch panel, stuff like that. So instead, we're going to go with a remote mount shifter. And basically, this Mustang short throw shifter, I'm going to cut off the bottom piece there. That's going to get bolted right here. And we're going to have a rod going over here. And basically, when I shift here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reverse, it will, in return with a rod, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reverse. You get what I'm saying? Every time I've YouTube searched how to make a remote mount shifter, there's not a really good tutorial, and with the utmost respect to everyone who has made a tutorial, theirs never looks that good. I'm sorry, it doesn't look that good. So, the goal today is to build one and make it look good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this apart so we can cut that bottom rod off. Keep in mind that goes on the actual shifter so you can shift the gears, but we don't need that. All right, we got that all taken apart. You can see my mark right there. Maybe you can't. There we go. So we're going to cut that, and then we can reassemble everything. Now that that is cut, we can set that to the side, because now we need to work on the S10 shifter. And I have a genius idea for this. Please ignore how dirty this is. I'm not done with the wiring. I should honestly be working on that instead of this, but whatever. So basically we have this shifter right here, right? And what I could do is make the bracket that then will hold on to the pipe for the shifter. But I was thinking it would be really cool if I could heat this up here and bend it at a sharper 90-degree angle, and then have part of the bracket for the pipe thread onto the actual shifter here. Again, it's really hard to explain until you see me do it. So without further ado, we're going to take this off. It's 4 13mm bolts, and then we're going to completely disassemble all of this and get a torch on that and see if we can bend it. Okay, so now we need to get this piece off, and as you can see, there's these like bent over pieces of metal there, and here, and I could not get it to bend, so I just cut the first one off, and then hammered it this way, and this slid right out, and so when I go to put it back together, I'll just put like a tack weld there or something, because once it's taken apart and put back together, I shouldn't have to take it back apart. And then we have this piece of metal that acts like a spring. There's actually like 2 of them there. Or no, 3 of them. Yeah, so that's like a spring there. And then this piece just lifts right out. So now we're going to take that bushing off. And there's a top bushing as well. And then we're literally going to heat this up till it's like cherry red and bend it straight over till it's like 90 degrees. And I'll explain why in a minute. One other quick thing, you can see the pins there, and then the top of the shift there is off center, and I believe that's so it's slightly facing the driver. I'm hoping I can correct that because I don't want that anymore. I want it to be more parallel with the rest of the shaft. So we'll clamp it in here, heat it up, and get a big cheater bar to see if we can bend this thing. All right, unfortunately, I'm almost out of map gas, so we have to do this in like one take. So let's, without further ado, you know. Not quite. Oh my god, I think that's it. How's the... Took a solid probably 5 minutes of just keeping the torch on there. Ideally, like a cutting torch that you could heat up. That would have heated it up in like 30 seconds. I don't have a cutting torch. But I do have two torches and a big pipe. Okay, we got everything back together. Make sure you put the springs back like that. They look like that. Put them like that because when you're side to side, that brings you back to the center. So I need to clamp this down. I'm just going to do like a few tack welds. I'm not going to do like a bead or anything because I don't want to melt that bushing inside there. So we're almost done with this, which is awesome. This has only taken all day to do. So let's get that tacked up and then we can finally actually start on the short throw. Alrighty, look at that. We got all that put back together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reverse. It's hard to do that without leverage. Actually, that transmission is kind of hard to shift, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so now we have this here. It's not put together or anything, but I'm just like trying to figure out where I want it. Now what we're gonna do is I'll get it centered, get it in line. I mean, it looks pretty good right there. And then we'll mark it and we'll drill the holes for the plate and we'll bolt the plate down. I got some nice bolts for that to bolt down. And then we can... I guess we could technically reassemble all of this, and that way we can start building the rod across. So, yeah, let's get to it. All right, we got this temporarily bolted down. I was going to do, like, thread locker and everything, but I was like, man, if I have to take this back out, that's going to suck. So, now what we need to do is basically create the piece that goes from here to here. So now you might be starting to see the vision. I would like to issue an apology to everyone else who I said I was like, oh, these end up looking like really bad. These are really hard to make, if I'm being honest. So that being said, this isn't done. This wiggles too much. I have spacers, but you can see that's basically how that will go. I'm going to trim this down, clean all that up, and then I have this piece that will go here. You see that? I don't know how I'm going to attach that, but that's going there. So we got this piece that, let's say, will be attached right there. This is aluminum, but this piece right here is steel. And then, so pretend this is welded up here. Yippee, yay, it's welded. We now have this piece that will be welded to this pipe and to this piece here. Right? Let's see if I can do this somehow holding my phone. So, yeah, there we go. You can kind of see. So, I'll be able to bend it over, and this will go with it. It's really hard to do this. I'm holding the phone with my knees. And then from there, we'll be able to go into third, and then back. You get it, right? So, basically, this pipe cannot be solid mounted to anything. It has to be on a swivel. So there's that. Now, with one thing I'm realizing is like, okay, this is metal. That's good. I would probably just weld straight to this. But now the trajectory has changed. Now, if I'm not mistaken, depending on how I have the angle, I can actually change the throw, maybe? I don't know. But I'm thinking what I might do is see what happens if I do this. Put this down below, and that would put me more in line with that. Let me think about this for a second. Alrighty, I just asked some friends, and they said the front one needs to be like all the way down here basically, and this one needs to be up here, and that will change the throw. And as soon as they said that, I got it, because like right here, look how far this is moving from third to fourth. Third to fourth. That's not moving very far, you know what I'm saying? So if this was all the way up here, third to fourth, that would be third, fourth, you know? So that makes sense. So my theory is, though, if I keep it parallel to parallel like that, this throw, the stock throw is going to be the same here. And I'm okay with that, mainly because I don't want to have to fabricate something all the way up here. Of course, that's probably metal now that I think about it, or steel. Okay, well, damn. So, yeah, I guess in theory, I could attach that up there, and that would drastically change the throw. But I'm also like, it's so clean and out of the way right here, you know? So, alrighty, we got everything installed for the most part. It's not done, obviously. Also, I'm missing a washer right there, and I didn't install all the washers. But that's because I was just testing it out. It is done enough for me to be able to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be reverse. Obviously, again, like I just said, not done. Anyway, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back apart, cut this tack weld, get that welded up properly. All right, ignore the cricket in the background. We got this rod here all welded up. Okay, so quick thing, my welds aren't that good. However, I was like, why are they looking so bad? It's because I forgot I had stainless steel welding wire loaded in. So I was like, crap. So that's why my welds look really bad. But I got it really straight, so I'm happy with that. So we'll grind it down. Then we got this. Whoa! Okay, that's still really, really, really hot, so don't touch that. Then we got this piece here, and basically I'm going to make some gussets, and I'm going to tack weld them. Okay, so it is the next day. I let everything dry overnight. So now we're going to reassemble everything. However, I stupidly had some of this stuff right next to me while I was grinding metal. So there's metal shavings coating everything, unfortunately. So I'm going to take everything apart, clean it really well, and then re-grease everything, and then put it all together. This is going to be fun because it's like a giant puzzle and I don't have the instructions to it. We got this piece here. This needs a little cleanup work. It's not super pretty. This was really hard to weld to for some reason. And I took a grinder and I ground down the like chrome finish or whatever, and that didn't really seem to do much. We got this piece here. This one actually didn't turn out too bad. You can see some grind marks, but I was like, this is going in a Corvair on an S10 frame. I'm not dealing with this. And then this one here, I just think is the funniest of how much work went into this. Because, you know, there was just like a buttress here, or a gusset here and here. And then I ended up filling all of that in with weld, just to make it look really nice. I was thinking about doing body work, getting some body filler, but I was like, I'm not doing that. So I just made it look like that. So it actually doesn't look bad, but it basically made this bolt here basically worthless. There's no reason for that to be there. Anyway, so we got everything now. I'm just going to clean it up. And then the only other thing is I'm going to grease everything, including the bolts inside the pivot points here. The only grease I have is wheel bearing grease. This is one of those wheel bearing grease packer things. It's actually super helpful. It's all I have at the moment, and I'm sure this will be just fine. So, yeah, so without further ado, let's clean this up. That is together, so that can go in the car. This one actually can't go together until it's in the car because that metal piece that holds this down has to go on first. So that we will assemble inside the car. I'm going to take some grease and we're going to grease these pins. But only a little, because I feel like we really don't need that much. I may have went overkill on the shifter. And then I'm going to take a little bit of grease and grease the pivot area down here. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, we have these springs, and then we also have these, well, I don't know what they are, but basically they go like that, and the pin that goes through the actual fork here rides on these. And then you got these big Allen key plugs up above here. And you can adjust those, and that will adjust the tension for shifting. So it is adjustable if you want a really loose shift or a really tight shift. Okay, so I think, actually, before we do that, I never put the bolts on here, holding that down. I never, put my washers on. I never Loctited those, so I think I'm gonna quick do some blue Loctite on those. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't want to talk about it. I'm really tired of this carpet being in my way. I don't know if I mentioned this, so this carpet used to be brown, gold, tannish, because that's what the color of the S10 used to be, and then I just painted it black, and it worked okay for a few years, obviously not. What I want to do is get a black carpet from an automatic truck, so then I can cut that where it needs to be. So I'm going to, like, cut this back so I can get this piece of metal in here, because I really don't care. Okay, so we just got some self-tappers. I don't really care that half the car is being held together with self-tappers. That is not a joke. But I was trying to, like, squeeze this over top of that, and I was like, wait a second. What if I just kept it like that and had the connecting rod go through here? So that's what I'm going to do. The only thing that sucks now is I have to undo all these self-tappers and then slide it this way. But no, I think I'm going to do that. I think that won't look bad. So I'm going to put you back up in the tripod, and we'll be good to go. So I still have this apart just so you can see. Unfortunately, by welding all that up, the tolerance has changed, and it is a little bit more firm than what I would like. But as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4... That was 5, but I'm just realizing that that's kind of hard to get into. 5. And reverse isn't going in, but I'm assuming because the gears aren't meshing properly. All right, guys. So there it is. it's all done. I would like to issue a formal apology to, at the beginning of the video, I've said that other people on YouTube, when they make theirs never ends up looking that good. And I think mine looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with it. This I'm not actually so sure about anymore. But I think what I'm apologizing for is that this is like a lot of work to make. Like, there was a lot of design and planning that went into this. And so when someone else is like, I'm not doing all that, and they just run a solid rod over with a bolt going through it and call it good, I completely understand that now. So if that's all you want to do, please, by all means, go ahead, because it's going to be a lot easier than whatever I made. So I apologize to anyone watching this who I may have upset. As you can see, I don't have a shifter here. I don't know what I want to do. I think a pistol grip would be kind of cool. Maybe like I don't know if I want to put a T-handle back on here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But it does work, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, it won't go into reverse because I'm pretty sure that it's meshing weirdly. Alrighty, so it's been a few days since the last clip of me installing everything for the short throw, and I was gonna have the video ending with me having it like done or whatever, but upon editing it, I wasn't happy with it. So this is the official final product. Got the pistol grip shifter in here. I didn't go with a T-handle because I used to have a T-handle in here. And I just wanted something different. And also with this, I have more leverage to be able to shift gears. Now, addressing the elephant in the room, this is such an unfortunate accident. I'm so upset about that. Basically, the floor there's like a hump here, and then it goes down a little bit. So tighten these down, tighten this one down. And that first crack you heard, you can see it split. I edited it so you see it, the first initial crack. And then as I'm tightening this one down, it just keeps bending and bending and bending. I don't even realize it until it cracks and finally separates all the way through. So it was just a very unfortunate accident. So what I'm going to do to fix that is not buy a new one. This is aluminum, probably not very good aluminum either. But in the future, I'll unbolt this, flip it over, grind an edge on both sides, and then get a aluminum brazing rod where you just take a torch and you kind of heat it up and just re-weld that closed. That's what I'll do in the future. So yeah, that sucks. And then the other thing is, I didn't like the way that this came out like that, so I just kind of cut this. Not very good, but I'm going to put something along the edge there because I kind of like the exposed linkage. So other than that, I've already test driven it a few times and it works great. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reverse. Shifts totally fine. Like I said somewhere in the video, if this would have been all the way down there and that would have been like up here, this would have been like a short throw shifter. Like it would have been like 1, 2, 3. You know, it would have just been a really short throw. Because this is parallel, this is basically the same throw. So you can see there's first, second. I really don't care that it's a regular throw. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So there's that. And then the only other thing is I want to paint this green bolt black. Oh, and there was one other thing, because I welded all of this solid. This inner pipe here distorted and I could not get this bolt on here, so I had to take a grinder to both of these bolts and grind them down in order to get them to fit, unfortunately. And so because of that, you can see there's a little bit of wiggle room, but that's okay. Anyway, that is that. I really like this. The only other thing that I'm going to change is get a different carpet. One that's black and will blend in with all of this a lot nicer. So yeah, but other than that, she's ready to rip. The only thing that I need to do now is drop the transmission and change the clutch, because an unsprung 6-puck clutch is the worst thing in the world. I hate that. So I'm changing the clutch to a stage 2 clutch that's like rated for 400 foot-pounds of torque. So with that being said, thanks for watching. This is my 1969 Chevy Corvair on an S10 frame with a supercharged 3800 under the hood. I have the entire build documented on how to put the Corvair on an S10 frame, and I also have the entire build up to this point of how to put a supercharged 3800 in a Chevy S10. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you check it out. And if you're new here, I have some really cool projects coming, like this 55 Chevy here, and some other stuff that we've been planning behind the scenes. So make sure you drop a follow, and along with that, a like and a comment, because I love reading the comments. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.